Doodle-doodle-in, doodle-doodle-in, bedle-doodle-in, bedle-doodle-in, Alright, look, I am aware that this is a little bit of a departure from my sort of regular content being almost, exclusively Transformers. But it had to be done because, in my opinion, the existence of this figure, it's about as cool as Nozpop can get, honestly. NECA's already done the updated versions of the original Kenner Predator figures, and Alien for that matter, and it's a stroke of goddamn genius to do some more modern Predators in this old school style. I would be super happy to buy every figure that they put out like this. Look at that box art, it's just incredible. Alright, the retro stylings on the packaging. Yes, please. Yes, thank you. See, there's that original lineup, done up all badass-like. I think if I saw the Stalker Predator, I'd definitely pick that one up, but that's probably about it, I think. The super hyper realistic's not super my vibe, really. This dude? Oh my god. Look at that sculpt. The stance, the pose. Oh, classic accessories. Right? How cool is that? Peep him next to like an OG in-card Predator. Even like the new, like it's flip side, but the pixel art, the Predator head, like the box art, that is a job that I would love. I would love to do packaging art in this sort of 80s, 90s painted style. It's just so much fun. Like seriously, hats off to NECA, because if you weren't told, I don't think you'd ever know. Look at this, just what like amazing slaves to detail to recreate this so lovingly and authentically. So as you saw, I have a few like carded Alien and Predator figures, but I also have a lot of loose figures. And given that if I really needed to have a carded version, I could pick up another one at a very reasonable price and have it delivered right to my door, I think we ought to set this Predator loose. Oh man, I know he's not really vintage, but this feels so wrong. No. Mother flipper. Just look at him, would you? That is superb. That's outstanding sculpt work. The textured skin, the detail in the armaments, the fact that we've got like a bit of a metallic plastic going on, because the Predator figures and the Alien figures did have some pretty cool apps and decos. Balayage on his dreads. The articulation is what you'd expect, right? Like it's a legacy thing. I'm not mad at all. Not mad at all. Whoop, 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 whoop. I remember as a kid being like, man, can't you at least have knees? But my tastes have changed over the years. There's more articulated figures available, should that be what you're chasing. I'm after that 90s Nozpop hit myself. Now, it wouldn't be a faithful homage unless he came with a few choice accessories. Primarily, that mask. Look at that. Love that. Mine has a little bit of paint bleed on it, which, you don't super expect on these sort of higher end collectibles, but then you sort of do at the same time, don't you? Eh? Eh? Now, on the original figures, they have little pegs and holes that help the mask stay on. This one just clips right on and over, and it just sits in there. I do fear the potential over time taking this on and off to end up with some scuffing and paint scarring and things, especially on them teeths. At first, I honestly didn't actually think it went on properly, like all the way. And then I realized I was being much too gentle with it. So if you get this and feel similarly that it's not going on properly, you're just not being as ham-fisted as your boy Ham Man. After it's gone on once or twice, it does get easier, but at least on mine, that first time, it was really hard to get it to plug in properly. I really like how it doesn't throw off the line of his jaw, so you can still use your head articulation. Ooh, one thing I forgot to mention, they did throw in an extra point of articulation for us. Oh yeah, waist swivel. This is probably going to sound a little weird, right? And it feels a little weird to say. And I thought for a minute about how best to phrase what I'm thinking of. But the plastic feels very dry, And that's not a bad thing. You know how a lot of like your Turtles and your Predators and some of your 90s Toy Biz figures, the plastic polymers or whatever degrade, or the oils or whatever it is comes to the surface and they get that stickiness. Because they're almost like powder coated? Is it fair to say this paint is like powder coated paint? I don't know. Whatever it is, it does not feel like at any point in its hopefully long life that it'll get that plastic tack to it. Which, you know, there's a point in your favor, bruh. Would he really be a satisfying Predator figure without some sweet wrist armaments? Now, I have mixed feelings about this and how this works. You just tab it in there, which is cool because, you know, then it gives you a couple of display options. My quibble with it is that it really doesn't stay in there particularly well. When the box art showed him with a much more dramatic kind of toyetic wrist blade, I don't think anyone would have minded if it had been that little bit more cumbersome, because that would have been totally on brand aesthetically with the rest of the figures. But anyway, see, even the act of moving my hand away from it knocked the little bastard out, right? You're not getting any kind of satisfying punch power out of that because it just falls off. The other awesome accessory that he comes with is this badass shoulder cannon. It's a beautiful sculpt, beautifully cast. I like the projectile. I personally always have mixed feelings about the projectile in a spring-loaded launcher looking like a blast effect, because that's kind of only cool as it's like actually like flying through the air. Otherwise, when it's just in there, it looks a bit weird. It's like, is that a blowtorch? You're gonna do some welding? So, as you can probably imagine, you connect it on this little tab on his shoulder, which could be a little baby launcher. Yeah. That has a corresponding divot just on the bottom. I have found this is not the most secure of connections. It sits beautifully, but it's not like, it is just balancing there. So again, I know that these aren't, you know, toys to be played with, but anyone who's watched any of my stuff before knows I'm gonna play with it. So it's just a bit annoying that it just comes right off like that. The other thing that I thought was a little bit odd is it looks very much like it should rock, like you should be able to, you know, change the angle of it. I'm really sure that you can't. I'm so afraid that I'm gonna break it. Maybe you can. I just don't want to break it. No, that feels like breaking. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me in the comments, but you know, look at that shape. I'm familiar enough with Tetris and passing preschool to think that that's probably not going to shift. But then why sculpt it? What is this, small soldiers and the fake knee joints? I digress. That goes on there for a pretty cool looking shooty bang bang. Yeah. I do really enjoy the fact that it's an actual spring-loaded missile. Like, I feel like it's been quite a while since we've seen those on toys. He is really hard not to like, right? Especially when you think about the improbability of this toy even existing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not super sure about how I feel with the scaling. Probably like the best scaling is if you get like 2-pack Predator in there. Then you've kind of got sort of the size difference you saw in the movie. So that's pretty cool. Where he doesn't stand up as well as if you get someone like Laser Shot in there, who was one of the deluxe figures. And then you're like, damn, man, Adrian Brody's lucky Laser Shot didn't show up, right? Plus, I think we all know the real fun here, right? Obviously comes from getting an alien into the mix. Scorpion alien, you're the one. You make playtime so much fun. Scorpion alien, please blow up for me. God, that was very satisfying. And if only there was like more aliens to slay. really does look right at home with the rest of the collection, doesn't he? Like, would you ever guess that he wasn't just part of the original lineup? I don't think I would. If I just saw him in the wild, not knowing who NECA was, I'd just be like, oh my god, how did I miss out on this one? How is it styled after a film that was yet to come out? So many questions. New from Kenner, Predator, join the hunt. Each figure sold separately. Do you know what they could do if they really, really wanted to impress me? If they really wanted to impress me, NECA, I hope you're listening. What I would probably, no, in fact, what I would definitely buy 2 of, so that I could have one packaged and one unpackaged, would be if they could make for us the prototypes that never quite got made. There's that awesome Swamp one, there's the multi-arm Commando, you know, there's Divey McLadydeath. This is fantastic, but God, I would be overjoyed to get those unproduced toys.